Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So let me start today's video by asking you a very interesting question and please respond in the comments. So the question is that why do you think that billionaires like Mark Cuban, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, despite being billionaires, they get up in the morning and go to work and are very excited about their work? Why is that? Now many of you would say that they are following their passion, they are liking what they do and bunch of other related answers, and you are not wrong. But in technical terms, that concept is called as the concept of flow, F-L-O-W. And in simple terms, what it simply means is that as human beings, we love challenges. That whatever work we are doing now, we are doing it as a challenge, we enjoy it. And probably the next job we will go to, if that is challenging, if it is fulfilling, we would enjoy it. But here is the disclaimer. Whatever next challenge that you are picking, it should be challenging, but it should not be backbreaking. Right? It should not be so hard that you're stressed about it. So as long as that journey keeps on happening in your career, that flow is maintained, you will enjoy your work. So on this video, I would like to discuss 3 specific things that I have realized from my career by having a successful career as a management consultant, working with a top tier consulting firm, being a YouTuber, being an entrepreneur, investing in different businesses. So what are 3 specific lessons I have learned in my career I would like to share with you. And this will be a very important video because you will learn a lot about how to approach your career. And if you get your mindset right, along the way, you will make insane amount of money and you will get super rich. Also, a big shout out and thank you to our sponsors Udemy for this video. I've curated a list of courses that you could consider taking on Udemy that can help you amplify your career. So with that said, let me take you to lesson number 1, or the first key thing that I have learned in my career, which is the top 5 percentile rule. I have spoken about this rule quite extensively on some of my other videos and I keep on bringing this top 5 percentile rule. So what am I speaking? Essentially, top 5 percentile rule simply means that each of us are gifted in certain areas. For example, you might be great in terms of doing math, or you might be a great data scientist, you might be very analytical, you might be a great painter, you might be a great singer. So first and foremost rule that I have felt in my career is that you must first and foremost try to estimate things in which you can potentially be in top 5 percentile. For example, in my case, I always felt that I'm a very analytical person. I love to read things. I love to analyze things. I need to draw my interpretations. I need to write analytical pieces. Even when I'm trying to pick books, I would mostly pick non-fiction books over fictional books because there is a lot more analysis that goes into non-fictional books. So that is what my personality was and that is what I could figure out growing up. So as a result, when I decided that, hey, I'm looking to make a career, what should I do? So I decided and zeroed in on management consulting. Why? Because there is a lot of problem solving involved. There is a lot of business analysis involved. You have to read a lot of things. You have to get creative with business ideas. So that work appealed to me. So this was something that I was naturally slightly better at. But important point is that I always endeavored to get into top 5 percentile of things that I pursued. For example, when I decided to become a management consultant, I put in my heart and soul and a lot of hard work into the fact that I go and work with one of the best management consulting firms. Similarly, when I decided to take the GMAT, I made sure that I worked really hard to get a very high GMAT score. Similarly, when I wrote my business school applications, I ensured that I get into world's top 5 MBA programs. So the theme is very clear that A, I do a self-assessment of my skills to figure out what I can be good at, and then B, I try to activate that and try to work really hard towards that goal because I'm working with the belief that, hey, you know what, I'm good at this particular aspect, and if I put my effort in the right direction, I will become top 5 percentiler in this particular field or in this particular area. Now you might ask me that, Akshat, we also want to become like top 5 percentilers in the respective area we are pursuing. But how to do that self-assessment and what are some of the key things that we should keep in mind? Of course, I can talk about this topic for an hour. So let me help you do that self-assessment by sharing a 2x2 framework that BCG consultants use. So what you do is that you simply draw out X and Y axis. On X axis, you draw out your skill set, right? That you can be good at certain things and you can be bad at certain things, right? And here on the Y axis, you draw out job requirement skill set. What are important skills and what are some non-important skills for a particular job? So let us try to understand this from my own example. So when I started working in consulting, I was good at a lot of skills that were relevant for consulting. For example, what are some of the important consulting skills? These would be things like problem solving. These would be things like structured thinking. This was an aspect that I was very good at, right? So I was already good at a bunch of things, and these things like problem solving or analytical assessment or reading things fast, I was already good at these bunch of skills, and therefore I felt that, hey, I will become a really good consultant. But there were also a bunch of things that were very important in consulting, but I was not very good at it. So those type of things were important in consulting. For example, I was not very good at using Excel when I started my career in consulting. This was a very important skill in consulting, but I was not very good at it. I was pretty much bad at it, right? So I'm plotting this important skill here. Similarly, I was not a very good speaker. I used to be really shy and I used to be underconfident. Now, was that an important skill in consulting? Yes, it was very important and I was not good at it, right? So this allowed me to separate things I was good at and I could park them. That allowed me to understand that, hey, management consulting career good for me, and uncover skills that were important for me to become a consultant, but I was not good at it. So I started working on that, right? For example, I started learning Excel. I started exploring public speaking forums. I started teaching more. So that allowed me to cultivate the skills. On a side note, Excel learning is one of the most important skills these days also. It is extremely important in investment banking, private equity, VC, management consulting, and you can check Udemy for that. There is a great course on Excel learning on Udemy.
You must learn the most common Excel functions used in the office.
You can check it out. I have linked it in the description box. So doing this 2x2 analysis really helps you figure out skills that you are bad at. It can help you isolate those skills and start working towards it. It's not as if that just because you have imagined that you will be in top 5 percentile, you will automatically reach there. There will be certain sub areas in a particular job which you will be very good at. Bifurcate them, continue to work on them, get mileage and leverage out of them. But on the flip side, there will be things that are super important for you to get a high GMAT score or get a job at McKinsey, BCG, Bain that you will not be good at. So you need to identify those things early and start working towards them. So having this correct strategy will allow you to be in that top 5 percentile game that I keep on talking about, because that is where magic happens. That is where you start working with top firms. That is where your salary grows and bunch of different benefits accrue to you. Now, the second key thing that I've learned in my career is the 80-20 rule. I had explained it briefly on some of my videos, but let me give you more insights around it. So 80-20 simply means that in order to generate 80% of the results, you just need to put 20% of directional efforts, right? So if your strategy is right and if you're looking at the problem in the right way, just by spending 20% of your efforts, you can generate 80% of the results. A great example here is that, for example, if you have not studied for any exam and you have just 3 days to study for an exam and pass it somehow, then 80-20 rule will say that just go and solve 10 years past papers, most likely you will clear the exam, right? So solving 10 years of papers is a very directional effort. It is just 20% work rather than studying all the textbooks and doing bunch of different things. And that 20% efforts gives you 80% of the output on the exam. Now, this is a lesson that I realized very early in my life when I was trying to become a professional cricketer. So I played for under 14, under 16 and under 19 state cricket teams of Madhya Pradesh, and I did that along with completing my school education. So usually I used to get into situations like that, every single day I used to practice 4 to 5 hours on the field, complete like schoolwork also, attend school also sometimes. So it used to get very hectic. So unlike majority of the kids my age, I hardly used to get any time to complete my school homework and bunch of different things. So what I used to do was simple approach that I just get to study 2 hours a day, right? So I used to get up at 6. My school used to start at like 8:30. So in that 2-hour time frame, I used to complete whatever I could, right? So that was a simple 80-20 rule. Because I had to pack everything in such a dense period of time, I used to be efficient in terms of study. So I used to push myself into a situation where I had to study in a very focused manner to get maximum output. Now back then I did not realize that this rule was called as 80-20. This is subsequently I learned when I started working in consulting. But what I was doing as a kid was that I was managing my time wonderfully well, and this is a habit that has allowed me to generate even better results going forward in my life. For example, when I graduated from INSEAD and started working with Dalberg, during that time also I used to run a parallel business, right? Now that required a lot of effort in terms of managing my full-time job and building another source of income. So I had to take care of that time management aspect. So over the years, I have realized that as you grow in life, for example, now I have a son to look after, right? A family to look after. Plus I do a lot of different things. So understanding how to optimize your time, manage your time, it becomes like a very critical aspect to managing your entire career. So focusing on that 80-20, learning about time management, it becomes one of the most critical skills that you need to cultivate in your career. So again, I've linked a course in the description box. You can go check it out. It's a wonderful course and you will learn a lot through it. Now, the third key lesson that I've learned in my life is the value of interdisciplinary learning. Now, what does it mean? It simply means that you learn a lot in one of your career paths. Then whatever you have learned, you bring it to your other career path. Let me give you an example. For example, I used to work as a management consultant. Now, using some of the skills, I have developed a bunch of businesses, right? So I've become an entrepreneur. So when I was working in management consulting, I learned things like how to structure a different problem. Structuring a problem would mean something like that. For example, our clients used to come to us that, hey, we run a non-profit organization, but we are not able to raise funds for our non-profit organization. How can you help us? So I used to break apart that problem. I used to look at different revenue streams. I used to look at different customer base. Then I used to look at which customers are donating versus not. What is their acquisition strategy like? What are some of the key changes that they can make in the process? Are they going digital versus not? So this is called as breaking apart the problem in a systematic manner, right? So learning this, it allowed me to start my own businesses. Using the same principles of consulting, I was able to build multiple digital businesses. Similarly, when I started investing in the stock markets, I started to analyze companies there, their product viability, how they are going to gain traction in the market, how their sales and profit numbers are going to go up. Then when I started investing in different businesses as an angel investor, I was doing the same exercise. So the point that I'm trying to tell you is that these days, career paths are very, very fluid. They just move from one domain to the next and you learn a lot from one domain to the next. So if you're a college student, learn about Excel modeling, learn about time management, learn about digital marketing. It is such a great growing field these days. Almost all my businesses which are digital, they all need marketing. I keep on looking for people who can help me with digital marketing initiatives. So you must learn about these type of concepts early in your career. It can help you out a lot. The final concept that I would cover is the concept of concentric circles. Now, this is something that has been given by Peter Thiel. He simply says that good businesses start out by building an expertise in a particular area. Then they move to the second area of expertise, right? So they are expanding like a concentric circle. They will start here, then they will grow that concentric circle, then they will move to the third concentric circle and keep on growing. This is what Amazon has done. First, it started out as a book selling store. It only used to sell books. It became a monopoly there. Then it moved to the second concentric circle, which is selling more and more stuff and becoming an e-commerce. Then it started developing its own internal products. So the point is that your skill set and your career should also grow like this, that every career move that you make, it should grow in a concentric manner, because then you can leverage a lot of skills from your previous career paths. So in short, if I have to summarize my career learnings and inspire you to become a lifelong learner, focus on the flow, focus on excellence by trying to be in the top 5 percentile of anything that you do, follow the 80-20 rule, learn a bunch of different things so that that interdisciplinary learning environment fosters you and propels you ahead in your career. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please press the like button and I will see you the next time.